Sabers hum, they light up the night. Pete and Nick keep the galaxy bright. From Tatooine sands to Endor trees, they're bringing the news with galactic ease. ATGLive, we're blasting away, talking Star Wars every Thursday. Interviews, opinions, and all the lore. Hop on the Falcon, they're opening the door. From Vader's breath to Grogu's charms, theories and chats, they keep us disarmed. Around the galaxy tonight, Chris and Kelsey keeping it tight. They're breaking news like a Death Star blast, taking your calls and reading your chats. The greatest guests and what you need to know. Pete and Nick lead the Star Wars show. ATGLive, we're blasting away, talking Star Wars every Thursday. Interviews, opinions, and all the lore. Hop on the Falcon, they're opening the door.
We're home.
Well, hello and welcome to another Thursday night. This is ATGLive. I'm one of your hosts, Pete Fletzer, and of course, as always, joined by my good friend, co-host, brother from another mother, Mr. Nick Milky. Nick, what's happening, brother?
Well, I believe our friend Han Solo said it best. I'm home, and I'm glad to be home because this week has included a lot of extra worky things and local TV news media appearances, and my afternoon had the potential to be derailed between a flat tire on my car and the fact that I had to go pick up a piano and have it delivered, or actually deliver it and install it in my home for my family, who I love so much. So the fact that it didn't all go haywire and kept me from being here tonight, I'm excited to agree with Han. I am home.
That is a miracle, and I'm glad to hear. Is the piano out of tune? It's got to be out of tune, right? You moved.
It's not as out of tune as we expected it to be, but it is in need of a professional tuning situation. So, yeah, piano tuner incoming soon.
Right. Good. Excellent. Well, it is Thursday night, and Nick, we have a great show. Who do we have tonight?
We have a fantastic show. We're excited to welcome tonight. We're going to welcome in just a few minutes Mr. JC Reifenberg. JC, among many things that he has done, and we're going to talk about, is the owner and creator and proprietor of Scum and Villainy Cantina. Excuse me, I'm so excited I can't even speak. And we also know JC because of our good friend Vanessa Marshall and Pot of Rebellion. He is the producer, fact checker, go-to guy on that show as well. So there's lots of fun Star Wars stuff that we get to talk about with him tonight.
That's awesome. And it's my job tonight to tell you, don't forget to head over to the sswnetwork.com where you can find all our social medias. I'm going to bring her in. We've decided that it is 2025 and we should probably have somebody manage our Instagram like a professional instead of the hacks that we are. And not only she produces the show, but she keeps us in line for Around the Galaxy, and now she's our Instagram lead. Hi, Kelsey. How are you?
Doing all right. You guys, just already making it a headache for me. It's fine. Like just having to teach old dog new tricks. It's all good.
But let's give a good, legitimate, genuine peek behind the curtain earlier today.
Yeah.
When we were texting and Kelsey said, "Hey, I need the password to get into the Instagram," and we went, "We don't know that. We're old guys."
There's a password.
She said, "So you both can use it, but neither one of you knows the password." And
that's just exactly the ultimate old guy thing.
Yeah, no,
my phone. Why would I need the password?
I felt like now I understand why I drive my teenage daughter crazy. I felt like it's just, I don't know. I was like, which button do I press? Is it? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, but we also have a voicemail. I want to mention that to call us anytime you want. 504-321-15. Call us during the show. If you're listening on the replay and something strikes you, call us 504-321-1501. Or if you just and as Andrew says, like and subscribe. I guess that's Andrew. You're hired. You can do it. We can do it. Like and subscribe. I'm going to just stop there.
Hold on, you guys. Brian guessed the password. Oh no!
Dang it! Brian guessed the password.
Let's change it again.
Note to self.
Let's change
password again.
Well, I just used my social security number, which is no.
What about your bank account?
Yeah, but
Yeah. What's this?
Nick,
Who, me?
it's still
Yes, sir.
Ahsoka, and I realized I
Is
don't have the
still
video,
Ahsoka.
and
I thought about it. Do you have it with you?
I don't know. So, but we can still drink to it. We have.
Oh,
we're
going to drink to it. I think I have it handy on. I do have it handy on my desktop. It
Nice.
is coming up. So I'll let you hit the play button at the appropriate time.
Good.
It is Ahsoka.
Yes.
If you don't know what Ahsoka means, bless your heart and welcome. We're glad you're here for the first time. We're about to add some fun stuff to. Oh man, that's a great call with the cup. We're going to add a great section to the website coming up soon as we continue to not be old, and we're going to explain our silly little monthly action figure toast game. But I'm not doing that tonight. It is Ahsoka. I have my Ahsoka action figure perched on my beer. She's about to take a dive here in just a second, but it's only appropriate that tonight, as I mentioned the piano, and our friend Brian Lindley is in the chat. Brian was one of my 3 dedicated good friends who came and helped me move this piano today.
Nice.
I
Very
texted
nice.
several of my buddies and said, it's like that Seinfeld thing about you. He asked you to help him move. Like, it's a big deal to ask people to move things, especially when it's as obnoxious as a piano. So tonight, I'm raising my Ahsoka toast to Brian Lindley, Brian Reeves, and my good friend John McPhee. So it is happy Star Wars and happy Ahsoka.
You did it again. Nick, you're a pro, and it's every week it becomes a little bit more scary.
Hey,
and quicker,
college football
and quicker.
season starting soon.
That is true.
I gotta get ready.
That is true. That is very true. Well,
because my team's gonna suck, so I'm gonna have to chug a lot of beer.
So you're Auburn?
I'm an Auburn fan. That is correct. So.
Yeah. The reason I need to ask that is because my son plays NCAA 26 football, and he always asks me to play, and I want to see how badly I can get my ass kicked. And Auburn would probably be
as the Auburn Tigers. There you
go. So, well, we're going to take a quick break. We have a fantastic show coming up tonight. We got JC Reifenberg joining us, and we're going to look for your questions in the chat. We want to hear what you have to say, and then of course we're going to hit the news. There's been a little bit of news in the Star Wars world this week, so we're going to take a real quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by JC, and we'll be back with more ATG Live. Well, welcome back to ATG Live, your Thursday night home for all things Star Wars trivia, Star Wars collectibles, Star Wars conversations, Star Wars interviews, Star Wars collectors tips. I don't know. I saw Paul Sun Young Lee in our little clip there, and it reminded me his figure is on shelves now, I believe. So
yes, the Carson figure is out.
Go get yours. We just had a new Target open in our neighborhood, so I eagerly went to check it out. They didn't have it. They had nothing.
Spoiler alert, if you want to be prepared, if you want to get ahead of the game, I'm pretty sure that next month's action figure chug is going to be September. So go get your figure, get ahead of the game, and be prepared for the month of September as we continue.
Join us for our chugging adventures. Well, we are joined tonight by JC Reifenberg. He started working professionally at the age of 16, creating multimedia presentations for local business. He's a graduate of Miami Film School. He has worked for Major League Baseball Network. He's done music videos. He has also a podcast host. He's a producer, including the Star Wars Pod of Rebellion, which all of you are very familiar with. JC and his wife are the creators and proprietors of the Scum and Villainy Cantina in Los Angeles, near the top of my list of things that I need to get to soon. Please welcome to the show, JC Reifenberg. There he is.
Oh my gosh, guys. First off, even just sitting here for the first 10 minutes of the show watching, Carson Teva helmet right there.
Yep.
Yes.
Nailing it.
Also, I feel like everybody I know has been on your show but me. Got
It was just a matter of time.
Grunberg was on the show.
Yep.
Shelby was on the show.
Yep.
Mel Newman was on the show. Vanessa's been on the show.
Sure. Yep.
So
and you've been the hardest one to get. I don't know why that's been.
Save the best for last, I guess.
There it is.
Yeah, welcome to the last ATG live.
Going out with a bang. We finally got him, guys. But thank you for being here. This is fun.
I can't. It's fun. It's wild. Like we talk on Pot of Rebellion, a lot of sports, and people are always like, "I love this podcast," but like they talk about football way too much, or talk about basketball way too much.
We're a very sports friendly show here.
Yeah. All right. I went to University of Miami, which you mentioned in my intro, from 2003 to 1999 to 2003. So if you're familiar with them, that was like the greatest 4 years of college football in the history of college football. If you're talking domination and first round draft picks, and then first round draft picks that went on to be Hall of Fame NFL players. So welcome to the Star Wars football podcast.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Well,
actually, I think we talk baseball all the time, a little bit of all of it. We're
oh my God.
For sports talk.
I worked at Major League Baseball from 2004 until 2008. I worked for the Dodgers in 2004 till 2008. 2009, I worked for the LA Dodgers. And then from 2010 to like 2012 or 13, I worked for the MLB Players Union. I'm that rare breed, obviously you guys too, that does both like intensely.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, if you're still a Dodgers fan, I'm a big Phillies fan, so I'm just waiting for us to have to face off again this year, or not again, but we didn't make it past the Mets last year. But
no, I'm not a Dodger fan.
You're not
the Dodgers because
so who's your team?
That's right. Who's your team?
I grew up a White Sox fan, but now I'm like more of just like I like players. I like the sport. I feel like teams are kind of like it's over corporate. You know?
Yeah.
So.
It's true. What is it? Billy Crystal used to say you're just really rooting for a uniform at times, you're not really.
Yeah. It's like, you know how there's just like, they always say like, don't make a business out of something you love. Like working in baseball for a decade, it was like, you see all the gross things and people are like, what's your team? And I'm kind of like, well, it's kind of like asking me like, do you root for Walmart or Target or Sears in the stock market? I'm like, none of them.
Yeah.
So like, none of them care. I mean, a few team owners care if they win or not, a handful, but most of them are just business people. But players want to win. Like you can't be a pro anything if you're not like, you cross that white line and you're like 100% in. Like that's,
got to be in. Yeah.
Like you've got to be in it up here to even get to that spot. You can't turn it off. So,
yeah, no, that's true. Yep. Yeah. And it's tough. Like my son he's 12 and he's a big Phillies fan. And like, we got a couple players that are like, they're free agents. And I'm like, don't get too attached because it's going to be a rough winter if that happens. If we lose some of those guys. I mean, I like you said, I get it. But it's going to bum my mouth, but that's all right. It's part of growing up, I suppose, right?
Learn those lessons the hard way.
Yep.
What so we want to bring it into Star Wars for a little bit.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Star Wars. No. And we'll bounce back to sports. I'm sure we'll be back. Jumping off kind of the classic question when you get somebody new on a show. Earliest Star Wars memories, what hooked you, what brought you into the Star Wars world, early in your life?
Okay, so I was born in 1981, January of 1981. One of my first memories of anything in my life was my dad taking my cousins and I to see Return of the Jedi in the movie theater. And people were like, you were 2. I was like, well, I was probably closer to 3. And I don't remember like Vader throwing the Emperor down the Death Star shaft or anything, but I remember the event of it. Like, I remember the hype. I remember the, like, how excited everybody was in the movie theater, and what an event it was. And I've cross-referenced that memory with my dad and just been like, hey, wasn't, like, in the movie theater, because there was a balcony. I was like, we were sitting in the last row of the, like, non-balcony seats. We were, like, in the middle, and, like, you were sitting here, and I was sitting here, and Sean was sitting here, and Brian and Kevin. And, like, Sean had, like, one of those whistle things that whirs, and you, like, made this garbage comment to him about he was going to swallow it and then sound like that. Like, and my dad was like, I cannot believe you remember that. So, like, that, it's, like, burned in my brain, that event, attending that thing. And then, of course, I got all the Return of the Jedi action figures in a C-3PO carrying case, which I literally, like, for people watching at home, literally have.
There it is.
And, like, it's not the 1997 Power of the Force non-vac metalized one, you know. So I got that and the Ewok Village that year of Christmas 1984. I got all that stuff. And then it kind of faded into, by the way, you guys, I'm so sorry. I also produce Kevin Smith's podcast, and I've been doing stuff with him for 10 years. So, like, tell me to shut up, because I could spend an hour and a half on this one question. But
you're great.
When I was in 3rd grade, my friend Trevor and I kind of got, not out of it, but, like, Transformers and G.I. Joe and Ninja, like, all of that stuff kind of, like, seeped in. But then when I was in 3rd grade, my friend Trevor and I discovered a toy chest of his older brother's Star Wars toys, and he had all the stuff that I never had. And we like took it out and started playing with it. And from then on, it was just like, went so deep on it. Like, he and I had sleepovers every weekend, and sometimes we do like the duel. Like, after school, I went home, I ate dinner, I went to his house after dinner. We like played Star Wars with those toys from Friday night until Sunday morning, type of stuff. Like, crazy, absolutely awesome, and crazy. And so, like, just from then, like, you know, and you guys know, like, back then, like, your son is 12.
Yeah.
He has, we were doing Pot of Rebellion earlier, and I fact checked the amount of Star Wars that is released now. Right. And so the amount of Star Wars that is released now, I still have my fact check document up. It's absolutely insane. There are 30 hours of Rebels, 66 hours of Clone Wars, 85 total hours of live action Star Wars. Wow. But when I was in 3rd grade, there was 6 hours and 12 minutes.
Yep.
So you consumed everything. You knew every character in Jabba's palace and what their backstory was. And, you know, and then the Decipher Star Wars CCG game came out.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Like,
yeah. Yep.
You know, being the cool kid I was, like, I went from football practice. I went from school to football practice to my nerdy friend's house, and we just played that all night and all day Saturday, or like went to the comic book shop. So obviously I had a lot of friends on the football team, but I was already like 3 hours late to the game by the time I got home from football practice. Obviously I fit in well everywhere, but like those cards, just memorizing the details, like, oh my God, did you know that the guy that in the cantina that Obi-Wan tries to hire, his name is Boshek. And then after that encounter, like, Boshek went on and changed his life. And maybe that's card lore, is why in episode 2, when they go into the Outlander, Obi-Wan's like, you want to go home and rethink your life. Because this guy from Decipher wrote that. Anyway, obviously I'm in it.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it's great because there's like that whole thing whether we were so hungry for any piece of background content, and if we didn't have it, we made it up, right? And it was just, this is why Star Wars became, for those of us that were kind of original trilogy kids, those gaps we filled it in ourselves. I got to ask you, as a late to the trilogy, right? You came in at the end of the trilogy, original trilogy. How did the prequels strike you? Did you come in as a fan, or I mean, because me and Nick have said, we borrow from Ken Knapsack and say, we're freeform prequelists, right? And so I'm always curious as to the way the prequels hit you and when they came out.
Okay, so you have to think, like, I never really saw Star Wars in movie theaters. I saw it on VHS. Right. And most of it was, I saw it on VHS recorded off of ABC.
Right.
So when I was in 7th or 8th grade, I got that box set, the blue and red one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then all of a sudden, I'm seeing like stuff that got cut out of the ABC, and it's like brand new stuff. And then in 97, we got the special editions, and I'm like, oh my gosh, even more new stuff. And then we got the Behind the Magic CD-ROM, where you got to see like the big scenes, and you're like, oh my God. And then the prequels came out, and I was 18 when episode 1 came out. I saw it a little bit early. I saw it on the 16th. It released on the 19th. And I was actually on the Rosie O'Donnell show doing Star Wars trivia on the 19th with Jake Lloyd.
Amazing.
And it's interesting. Like, it's obviously not what any of us expected, right? But the idea that when I was in Star Wars, like, I got into Star Wars during the Dark Ages, and like the Timothy Zahn books came out, and I was like, Heir to the Empire. I was like the only 4th grader reading Heir to the Empire in 1991. So the thing is like seeing the new Star Wars, and like, to me, Star Wars is the lore. Like, I don't care about the space battles. I don't care about like the acting, or I don't care about any of that. I like the lore. And so the lore in the prequels is so deep, and it provides so much context. And so if you want to say like the prequels suck, or like I wasn't into it, or whatever, that's fine. Like, I get it. The prequels are brilliant stories told kind of clunkily. Right. Kind of McClunkily. Which I much prefer to like other stuff that's come out that I'm not going to name by name because I get in trouble on the internet every time I do. But other stuff that's come out that is like just video game, where you're like, there's no story here. There's no lore here. This is like the worst fan fiction of all time. But like, hey, there's red curtains and a lightsaber fight that makes no sense. Yep. I couldn't do it. I couldn't not make a reference.
You had to go there. Yeah.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, yeah.
I want the lore. Like, and so for me, the prequels were like, it was so rich in backstory and lore that like people are like, I don't buy Anakin and Padme getting together in episode 2. It's so terrible. And I'm like, but like the lore. Yeah. So I didn't approach it that way. And I think the more time has passed since the prequels, like we're 20 years on from Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
You go back and you watch those against some of the stuff that we're watching today.
Yep.
And even the good stuff today, you're like, oh, these still like, there's still like a depth to it. Like, again, tell me to shut up. But like,
no, I'm loving this.
For example, and I have some insight here, and I'm just going to spill it. Like the way that George Lucas did world building is George Lucas would take somebody who's like really good, like a creature designer, and like somebody who's really good at like anthropology and geography, and somebody else who's really good at technology. And he'd be like, the 3 of you guys go into a room and come up with Utapau, right? So you have these three people who are very good at different disciplines being like, well, the spaceships of Utapau, like if Utapau is like a planet that's like made out of sinkholes, then the creatures who were spawned from Utapau would look like this, because they wouldn't have sun exposure and they wouldn't have this, and their skin tone would be this way, and they'd right. So it was like this holistic view to creating society versus the new stuff, which is like you come up with 20 planets, you come up with 20 characters, you come up with 20 spaceships, and the director or the showrunner is like, I like that and that and that. And then they smash it together. And you're like, there's no cohesion here. Like it's what looks the coolest versus what was built organically to work in tandem. And I think that's like why even today I love the prequels even more than ever before, because like it is cohesion that you feel as a human being in a way that like the pieces just fit in a way that like even like the best stuff today doesn't quite fit that way, except for Andor, which is like
that's nearly perfect. But I think I mean, even when you say that, I think of things like Tatooine in A New Hope. Like if that was, the typical 1970s sci-fi film, it would have been people in flashy silver costumes, but it was Jawas and sand people and lizards that lived in it was so well thought out that you never once questioned what went into the thinking, which I think is that's the magic to me of Star Wars, is when it's done right, you don't question what's happening. You're just like, oh yeah, of course that just makes sense. We're here. This is what happens. Yeah. Well, speaking of Tatooine, we got to talk a little bit about Scum and Villainy. For those who aren't familiar, it's a geek bar in Los Angeles where every genre is welcome, and I mean, you can't help but be the name is Scum and Villainy, so it evokes this image that you love. But tell us about the bar. I want to know the story of how it came about, because I remember hearing about it when it first hit 9 years ago, and it's been on my list. But tell us a little bit about the story.
So we announced it through Nerdist almost exactly 9 years ago. As we record this, it's like August 14th. We announced it on Nerdist August 17th, 2016. So we've been around a while. The genesis of it is my wife was a bar and restaurant designer, and I am a film person by trade. And we went. I'm going to try to keep this part of the story short because there's no way we're getting out of here in an hour 15. I'm so sorry.
It's quite right. We're having fun.
We went to a pop-up bar in Chicago called Saved by the Max by a guy named Derek Barry, who's become a friend of mine. Because the world of pop culture pop-up bars is very, very small. There's like three of us that do it. And because she loves Saved by the Bell, and I grew up in Chicago, so like we went. And much longer story, but we didn't get in, and I was at my mom's house where my whole collection was at the time, and I just started thinking about it. And so we went the next morning and got in line like 5 hours before they opened. And like I just was like, we could do something like this. And she's like, what do you mean? And so Scum and Villainy Cantina is what happens when a filmmaker who loves Star Wars teams up with a bar and restaurant designer. But the build and the concept came from I've been to a lot of Star Wars celebrations. I've been to every single Star Wars celebration in the United States since Star Wars Celebration 2, and I went to London a couple years ago.
Cool.
And the best part of Star Wars Celebration, I think this is where like a lot of current Star Wars misses it, where they're like, Star Wars fans want licensed merch. It's like Star Wars fans want community.
Yep.
And I always found that like when I got back from Star Wars Celebrations, that I never really remembered what Mark Hamill said in the panel that I waited 6 hours to get into, or Carrie Fisher, or even George Lucas. I waited overnight at Star Wars Celebration 3 to get into. I have no idea what he said in that panel, but I still keep in touch with the people who stood in line in front of me and after me 20 years later.
Yep.
And so it's like, why doesn't that exist for people on a daily basis, right? The best part about a Comic-Con, the best part about a convention, doesn't happen at the convention. It happens at the bar after the convention, where you share with people, oh my God, Mark Hamill said this. Oh, I didn't get into the Mark Hamill panel, but the new video game that's coming out, Force Unleashed, you're never going to believe how cool that looks, right? That's the best part about it.
Yep.
And it's the community part. So we wanted to create a Comic-Con after environment that's open every single day. And how do you do that? How do you achieve that? Especially for people like us who's, you know, like a lot of us are not cool. A lot of us didn't fit in. A lot of us are on the spectrum a little bit. And so, like, what do you do? How do you get those people who are traditionally hanging out at a comic book shop or traditionally hanging out? And look, times have changed a lot, even in the last 9 years since we opened Scum and Villainy. But like, how do you get those people from like a homebody playing Magic the Gathering at home out into an environment that they typically are uncomfortable? And I met in 2011 Ernie Klein, who now goes by Ernest Klein.
Oh, yes. Yes.
The writer of Ready Player One.
Yep.
And you know, the wonderful thing about Ready Player One is it was about nerds, right? And like,
yes,
the characters in Ready Player One, like H's basement in Ready Player One wasn't like a faithful recreation of the arcade from something. It's a celebration of everything that you love, right? When I was growing up, I didn't just play Star Wars toys. I, like, Luke Skywalker teamed up with He-Man, teamed up with Lion-O, and they battled Serpentor and Mumra and you know, whoever the bad guy from the Centurions was, or Miles Mayhem from Mask, right? Like, they all teamed up. Like, the good guys teamed up and fought the bad guys. And so with Scum and Villainy, like, it's important to me that, like, it embodies the Oasis. It embodies, like, the things that we actually love. Like, very early on, I have a Klingon batleth hanging behind the bar. And somebody got into it with me about, like, you know that this is a Star Wars bar. Why do you have a Klingon batleth? Like, you clearly... And I was like, I love it when people, like...
actually you?
Actually me, especially about, like, my bar and Star Wars. But it's I was like, look, man, here's the thing. There's... the Venn diagram of what makes somebody a geek. It's like, okay, cool. Like, I don't personally really care for Star Trek all that much, but like, the thing is that, like, okay, you love Star Wars and I love Star Trek, and we can't be friends. It's like, no, but we both love Battlestar Galactica and Firefly and Buffy and so we're gonna pick the one thing that, like, splits us apart and focus on that instead of the 99 things that bring us together, you know. And to tie it back into Star Wars, George Lucas was very into Joseph Campbell and myth. And the thing that Joseph Campbell kind of pioneered was the way that things were always studied was by the differences. Aztecs believe this, and, you know, ancient Chinese believe this, and that's how they're different. But Joseph Campbell studied the stories that were told from civilizations that were isolated from each other, and found so many similarities, like a virgin birth. That's not just Christianity. There are multiple virgin births across multiple religions that all happened right around the same time. So like there's something human about that story, and that's what Joseph Campbell studied. And in a way, like that's the idea behind Scum and Villainy, where it's just like, hey, like let's stop looking at your Starfleet insignia and my, you know, Rebel pin or New Republic pin, and start like celebrating the things that bring us together, especially like today and community. Like let's do that.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Anyway,
and I love that you you're good.
Way too long answer to your simple question.
No, it isn't. It's exactly what we're looking for, because we knew we wanted you on. We knew we wanted to have these conversations. I love, and you talk about community, the connecting points, and I love that it's across fandoms. It's not just Star Wars. It's all the things. Like you, my dad would introduce me to Star Wars and sci-fi, but my dad was much more a Star Trek guy. And so I grew up watching all that because of my dad, but it's not as much my thing. So I hear what you're saying, the connecting point. And what I love is Pete and I have said for a long time, he and I have been working kind of side by side for a bunch of years and then directly together over the last few years. But we've said Around the Galaxy, kind of our longer form interview podcast when we get guests on, it's what happens when a couple of Star Wars fans meet for the first time. What is that conversation like? The same thing. If we met up in a bar and I have a t-shirt on, you're like, Star Wars? I'm like, hell yeah, Star Wars. And that's where it goes. Like, that's the conversation. That's the connecting point. Like when you're a kid, you like food, I like food. Let's be best friends. It's not complicated. It's a chance to connect and to create community, which is what y'all have done. I want to ask, before we get to it, we're going to take a break in just a minute. We're going to play our news game. But before we do that, you guys have had so many things going on. You're in a great spot in LA. There's cons, there's conventions, cons are conventions, excuse me. Special events. What are a couple of highlights for you? Celebrities who have come and been there, special events that y'all have done, things that have meant a lot to you guys creating this space that have just really been highlights of what you've created and what it's turned into.
I love that question, and I have way too many answers, so I'll try to make it quick. First answer, Roddenberry Foundation did a night with us.
Oh, wow.
Which was really cool. We've hosted premiere parties for Star Trek Prodigy and Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which I really love.
Strange New Worlds is great. I'm not even a Star Trek fan. I love that show though.
We've done maybe my favorite thing of all time is obviously May the 4th is a huge day for us. It's the biggest day we've ever had. Every year it's our biggest day. But when X-Men 97 came out, and again, remember I told you like I would play Star Wars CCG all night with my friends and have a sleepover. Saturday mornings we watched Batman the Animated Series, X-Men 97, Spider-Man Animated Series, and The Tick.
The Tick was great.
And that was our Saturday morning. And so when X-Men 97 came out, Digital LA and I'm forgetting the other guy's name. It's Chris Riley of Something Experience. And they reached out and they were like, hey, Lenore Zan, who voices Rogue, would love to come and do a watch along of X-Men 97 at Scum and Villainy. Would you be up for hosting? I was like, hell yeah. So we did that, and we had like a handful of people show up in costume and stuff. And then the next week they were like, hey, we have AJ Locascio who plays Gambit, and Lenore is going to come back. So we're going to have Gambit and Rogue. Do you want to host again? And so each week we hosted, and like it got bigger and bigger. And then the showrunner started coming, and then the writers started coming. So everybody who created that show every Wednesday at 5:00 showed up at Scum and Villainy. All the fans showed up in cosplay and everything. And it was like this amazing thing for X-Men fans who had been so hungry, an amazing thing for like the LGBTQ community, because they haven't had something that represented them in the way that X-Men did. And X-Men, the original animated series back then, for that community, spoke to them in a way that no other thing out there was speaking to them. And so they finally got to have their moment and unleash and be themselves. And that all happened at Scum and Villainy. And the reason I mentioned May the 4th is X-Men 97 did their wrap party at Scum on that Wednesday night. And it was just for like the creators and the people who were in the show and things like that. And we shut down. It's the only Wednesday we've ever shut down because we do trivia on Wednesday. But it was like, I couldn't not do it. That Tuesday night at midnight, on a school night, on a work night, I was like, I feel so bad for all the people who've come for the last 9 weeks. They're not going to get to see the show with each other. It's like, let's open at midnight when the show drops on Tuesday and just invite people out. And maybe like,
cool.
I don't know, maybe like 30 or 40 people will show up. We had like 260 plus people show up.
Wow.
It was busier than May the 4th at a Tuesday night at midnight. And it was just magical because for me as a creator, you don't ever get to experience the work you make with the audience it's intended for, especially on TV, right? And so you just, you're left with like Rotten Tomatoes and reading reviews, and there's like so much garbage on the internet and like contrarians to experience with the creator, and especially because there was a lot of drama that happened with the creator of that show in the midst of that show.
Correct.
Like, to experience that with the actors who worked hard to bring it, and the producers and the directors and the writers and the original creators of the X-Men series who showed up, and the people who wrote the theme song showed up. Like, to experience that with them week to week was like, it was what the bar was created for, even if I didn't realize it at the time. And I'll just end it there because I've already talked about this.
Yeah. Well, and I think I think you hit the nail on the head at the end. And what I was going to tack on is simply the fact that it's one thing that you get to do that for the fans. That's incredible. It's another thing, like you said, to have that space and that representation for the LGBTQ community connected to that series. But the other side of that coin is the creatives. The creatives have the opportunity to, alongside the fans, feel the love because they're the ones working in the background. And we forget that. Like, we see the thing that shows up in Disney Plus and it's there and it's waiting for us and it's awesome and we're excited. But we have to stop and go, there's writers, there's producers, there's story editors, there's, video editors and effects people. And so the fact that you created a space, that y'all have created a space that allows those connections to be made, and somebody gets to go, oh yeah, I got to watch it with a bunch of people who loved it, because they don't know. You hear those stories about a movie star who sneaks into a theater in a hoodie and watches their show and watches the audience lose their mind. That's fine. You're a movie star. You're probably feeling fine because you got paid. But when you're on the front line and you're producing and you're editing and you're writing and you're doing that, it has to be a really special feeling. So I love that y'all have created a space that creates opportunities like that. That really is incredible.
It was it was awesome. I mean, I have 100 more stories. I've been to like multiple weddings, like, of people who met there, because it's like, if you walk into any other restaurant or bar, it's like you don't quite know who the people are there that you're sitting next to. But at Scum and Villainy, you're just like, oh, I know you're a nerd, so like, what's your favorite movie? And the first 6 icebreaker questions are already done.
Right.
That's it. Yeah. Well, so what this has told us. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I answer a question? Because I saw it pop up in chat.
You certainly can.
Michael wanted to know what I thought about fanboys. Absolutely loved fanboys. Adored fanboys. In every single way. Anyway, sorry.
It's a classic, and we've had Kyle on a couple of different times, and we love talking to him. Here's what I know right off the bat. We're going to have you back multiple other times so we can get into all these other stories. You're a part of the team now. It's fine. But what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back from that break, it's going to be time for Around the Galaxy, which is our weekly Star Wars news show with points and opinions and all those kinds of things. If you've seen Around the Horn on ESPN, which is now retired, RIP, you know what we're going to do. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, it's going to be time to go Around the Galaxy. So we'll be right back with more ATG Live.
around the galaxy again. Welcome to the segment where our producer, Kelsey, clearly the most powerful being in the galaxy, selects this week's most overhyped Star Wars news from our website and forces a panel of organic life forms to argue about it. Loudly. For points. That she gives out. However she wants. This makes no sense to me at all. This week's special guest will also join the chaos, pretending that their opinions matter, while Kelsey quietly calculates who lives, who dies, and who gets muted. And at the end, the so-called winner gets 60 seconds of uninterrupted airtime, because that's what this show needs. More talking. So, hold on to your motivator and brace for impact. This is Around the Galaxy. Do I have to say it? Do I really? Roger, Roger.
Well, welcome back. Here we are. It is time for Around the Galaxy. Once I put the faces in the right places on the screen. Kelsey, how's it going? You have -10 already? Oh, yeah.
You told me you were going to hit Clinker, and then you didn't. Like I had to.
It's only fair.
He starts out down because he can't follow his own instructions.
That's all right. I can live with that. So,
you dig yourself in a hole every week. Like you think you'd learn. You think you would learn.
But I win a remarkably large number of times, considering how deep the hole is.
Well, I guess I kind of like you a little bit, or else I wouldn't be here.
Well, we appreciate it. So,
well, I will allow you to start because like you're already in a hole. So I'm gonna.
I'll set the tone for everybody here.
Oh, yeah. All right. So after Ewan McGregor had fans speculating about an Obi-Wan cameo in Ahsoka Season 2, Lucasfilm came out and denied it. Do you buy this, or do you think they're trying to keep the appearance a surprise?
I don't buy it for a second. I think he's definitely in there. I think it's sort of like when Liam Neeson just happened to have his lightsaber on the desk when he was on with Jimmy Fallon. I think what happened was there was some sort of, I didn't hear the exact quote at, I think it was Boston Fan Expo. And I didn't hear the exact quote, but I think it was one of those things where Lucasfilm was like, no, don't say that. You're not supposed to say that yet. And so they covered it up. But I 100% believe, and let's hang on to this clip because when I'm wrong, we can play it for me. But I believe that Ewan McGregor will be in Ahsoka in one way or another.
What do you think, JC?
Okay, this is around the horn cell, right? So I've got limited time.
Yes, sir.
I think that there's a good chance he is. I think that because it's Ewan McGregor, the famous Obi-Wan Kenobi quote is from a certain point of view. So from a certain point of view, perhaps the ghost of Obi-Wan Kenobi is in Ahsoka and he himself is not. So plausible deniability for Ewan McGregor. Lucasfilm wins and Ewan McGregor wins. I also think that, and I might get in trouble here, I think Ahsoka Season 2 needs all the help it can get. So why not bring back Ewan McGregor? and we know Hayden Christensen's going to be in it. That combination is a winning combination. You know those guys are great friends. Ewan, when Ewan had his star put in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Anakin Skywalker, a.k.a. Hayden Christensen, was the person who gave the speech at his star ceremony. So, yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you do it? And you know that Ewan loves playing Obi-Wan. He's the guy that always is game to come back at this point. Yep. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Ewan and not with the corporate empire of Lucasfilm Disney.
All right. Nick, what do you think?
All right, so I'm going to take the contrary position here. No, not in Ahsoka Season 2, but there's a bigger plan here. There's an Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 that's going to come, and we've said it on this show before. It's the flag that I've carried. It's like printing money for people our age, and even if the Kenobi show, the first season, was not your favorite thing, there's a lot of good stuff in there. If you go back and rewatch it, I think there's a lot of good stuff, and like JC said, this is the guy that's always ready to come back. So let's give him something to actually do. If you're going to spend that money, we're not going to spend it on a cameo or a flashback or a Force Ghost in Ahsoka Season 2. And if they do that, great. That's a tease. I think there's more to do there. And I think the opportunity to do one more round of Kenobi in that Kenobi show that's what we're heading towards. Because if you want to unify some folks, if you want to draw the olds like us and some of the younger folks back together, get somebody who is mainline, mainstream marketable, like Ewan McGregor. Do that. Obi-Wan season 2. That's what I'm calling.
All right, I'm going to stick with you, Nick. So John Boyega revealed that after reading the script for Force Awakens, he saw his character following a similar path with Rey and as Obi-Wan and Anakin. While that never materialized, what do you think about his idea?
We all saw that. It was on the poster. We've got a guy with a lightsaber. The seeds were planted, and somewhere along the line, stories changed, ideas changed, things were not the same. We want Jedi Finn. We want, we get the stuff in the Lego special where he's being trained. It's sewn throughout all 3 of the sequel movies. He's not wrong. And he's on the inside. He gets to see scripts. He gets to hear stories. Chris is in the chat. I'm going to give Chris a shout out. Don't get me started, Chris. I'm on your side here. You need Jedi Finn. And so I think he's right. I think there was something there, and I think things changed. And we know that happens in Hollywood. We know that happens in movies and stories and all that kind of stuff. But Jedi Finn, I feel you. I want you. And I hope that going forward in the new Rey movie and the things that we haven't heard announced yet, I hope there's something that's planted in there that's going to bring some of that full circle.
Pete, do you have any thoughts that are going to infuriate Chris?
No, I'm with Nick on this and with Chris. I still feel like, and you guys all know my feelings about The Rise of Skywalker and how it was 2 hours and 15 minutes of missed opportunities, and one of them was certainly doing more with Finn. And if Boyega saw something and thought something different in the script, as Nick said, I totally agree with him. And yeah, I want to see if they're gonna bring Rey back, they got to bring back Finn, as far as I'm concerned. So,
JC, what do you think?
I'm going to go contrarian on this. I think Finn as a Jedi is a terrible idea.
Ooh.
I think the opportunity with Finn that was squandered is the fact that he was a stormtrooper who went through the indoctrination, whose heart was so good. He was such a good human being. He didn't need to be a Jedi to break the indoctrination. It was his heart. It was who he was as a human, as a citizen of the galaxy, that caused him to break that indoctrination, not want to see his friends die. And I think as soon as you slap a Jedi label on it, similar to Sabine Wren in Ahsoka, you crush the thing that made them a character. Not every character in Star Wars needs to be a Jedi. It just doesn't need to happen. And it always does happen. Why do you keep going there? Because you're trying to sell a lightsaber toy to a kid at Target. Don't stick with the lore. Stick with the idea that, like, Han Solo is everybody's favorite character, not Luke Skywalker. Han Solo never picked up a lightsaber. Not true. In Empire Strikes Back, he did, but that doesn't really count. You know what I mean? Like, no, Finn doesn't need to be a Jedi. Give Finn his own path. Let him be the hero that he was should have been written to be. Also, just on a side note, was episode 7 and episode 9 actually shot with a script, or did they just kind of go with their gut day after day? Because that's kind of what it feels like.
Oof, sticking the landing there.
I love that.
Yeah. My goodness, it came with the fire. All right, I'm going to go back to you, Pete, because we're talking about your favorite person now. After a lengthy legal battle, Gina Carano has reached a settlement with Lucasfilm. Both parties have hinted at possible future collaborations, but do you buy that she'll actually come back to the franchise?
I can't think of a more awkward first day of work than Gina Carano walking on the set. Hey guys, listen, I my bigger issue with the whole thing is the fact that we knew that. I mean, Nick and I said when the thing first hit, Disney will settle because it's a lot easier than going through all the things that go with it. I think the problem is, and I think it's reflective of all the weird stuff going on politically in this country right now, is it's just sort of turning a blind eye to just how horrible somebody can be with their opinions and the way they put things and the way they position things and the way they're disrespectful. It's easier to turn a blind eye. And again, it's a win for the corporate world, right? That I don't know how much the settlement's for and what all the details are going to end up being, but Disney decided it was easier to just sort of say, yeah, I guess it's not as bad as we thought. and move on. And that's really what's wrong with where we are as a country today. And so that's the deeper thought on it. And she's not coming back. We're not going to see her in Star Wars anything, I don't think.
Nick, what do you think?
So Pete's exactly right. Awkward first day back at work. This is like when you're a kid and your parents let you act an actual birthday party and you get to invite your friends from school. But there's that one kid that your parents are like, you have to invite them too. And you're like, but I don't want to. We're not really friends. And like, but you have to because it's your class and it's the one kid.
Roger.
It's the one kid thing. Here's what I think they're going to do. If something happens, and I don't think something's going to happen, I think this is a way for them to kind of all make a statement, move on, oh, we'll look at it in the future, and the future never happens and people forget. But if it is, this character is going to show up in some sort of animation, something, and she's going to get to do the voice for it, and everybody's going to get to go, yeah, hey, we gave you a chance. And we said we'd do something. We didn't tell you what it was, but we told you we'd do something. That's what I think it could be.
JC, do you have any thoughts there?
With the exception of perhaps animation, I'm going to say that there's no way Gina's coming back. The quickest way to get this all to go away is just to settle it and bury it. I imagine part of the settlement is both sides coming out being like, yeah, we might work again together. Yeah. No. This is Hollywood. That's not happening. That was part of the agreed upon things that like everybody's going to apologize to everybody and we're all going to move on with our lives. I also just don't think even from any sort of world, like we're never getting Rangers of the New Republic. We're not going to get Mando season 4. Like none of that stuff is happening. We're going to wrap that whole thing up with Mando and Grogu next year. And that storyline, I think, is going to be pretty much done. I don't think we're going to be revisiting any of those little offshoot stuff. Maybe in Ahsoka a little bit, like beloved people like Carson Teva will make an appearance, but there's no way Gina Carano showing up in Ahsoka. Like it doesn't even make sense. Again, lore-wise, like not even politically. So yeah, no, she's not coming back. I'll make the exception. Like Nick said, maybe she'll voice an animation character in Star Wars What If or whatever at some point.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Pete, I'm actually going back to you just because I wrote one of my longest questions ever, and we know how well
in honor of my verbosity. Yeah.
Yes. So an excerpt from the upcoming reference book, The Mandalorian Visual Guide, confirms when Din Djarin was orphaned. The book states his real name is Din Djarin, and a tragic day during the Clone Wars on his homeworld of Akvatina, question mark, I don't know. The clone still haunts him. It was the day his parents were killed by battle droid fire. The day he nearly met his same fate. The day Mandalorians came rocketing in to rescue him. The day he became a foundling. What do you think about this addition to the lore?
I think I'd rather have seen it on screen than read it in a behind the scenes book. I think it's pretty cool. It's a cool story. If it's gonna, as you can tell, I mean, I'm a big fan. I can't see there. I'm a big fan of battle droids. I'm a big fan of the Clone Wars era tech. So I would have loved to have seen more of that. I think it's a cool part of the story. I just hope it's not something that you need to know before you go into Mandalorian and Grogu in the spring. But I think we know enough about that story. So it's cool. It's a cool backstory. But again, I would have rather have seen it maybe. But so interesting how Star Wars characters they continue to live through lore, as JC has referenced a number of times, and it's these backstories that either we make up as fans or that we get the details on. So like I said, basic answer is it's pretty cool, but it would have been cool to see it. So,
and I'm gonna go to the lore guy next. JC, your thoughts?
I mean, it's canon until Jon Favreau decides he wants to do something else.
That's true.
And then that becomes the job of Pablo Hidalgo to rewrite why that book was wrong from a certain point of view again. Star Wars invented retconning. So like you're saying that, but like it might be written in that book because it's going to show up in Mando and Grogu, and we're going to have the chance to see it.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, there's so much stuff in books and comics. Like, why does C-3PO have a red arm? Buy the 36 issue comic series. Like, it's so hard to keep up with all of it that, like, as long as the stuff that I'm watching is self-contained, like, I know, like, it all makes sense. I don't have to go buy the comic book to read about the red arm. I'm cool with any of it. Great, cool backstory. Thank you. We'll probably get 17 comic books from it. And maybe, Pete, if we're lucky, we'll get a Tales of Mandalore, similar to like Tales of the Jedi, which those series have been wonderful.
Yes.
And we'll get to see it in animation in a little way, which is, people are more forgiving of that. It's cheaper, and the guy Reed Richards, whose name I'm blanking on.
Oh, Pedro
Pascal. Pedro Pascal is used to just doing voiceover work for that character anyway. So he's doing it in his bathrobe from his basement anyway. What difference does it make if it's animation or if it's live action?
Yeah, they don't even need to tell him which one it is. Just read these lines, send them in by Friday. Okay.
I was gonna give you a couple extra points. How did you forget Pedro Pascal? Like, he's everywhere. Like,
I know.
It's crazy, man.
I knew it was a P.
All right, Nick, you want to take us home on this one?
I will try, and this is the part somebody can get the fan card revoke button ready, because I did tell you that this is the first week in a couple of weeks that I didn't read all of the news stories as we got into this. Didn't we see this already? This was in The Mandalorian. There's the part where there's the bunker and the droids, and the guy lands and he picks up the kid and he flies away. We've seen this. Why are we talking about creating this again? Do we need a fuller version of it? Do we need, at this point, and it's not at this point because we've only had kind of this one thing, but is this Batman? Like, are we showing every time Martha Wayne and Thomas Wayne are killed again, and the pearls break and the gun goes off and there's a kid that's scared? Like, how many times do we have to do this? Can we say one time? Can we understand that one flashback that was in Mandalorian season 1 or 2? Like, that's enough. I'm good. We don't need anything else from that. It doesn't have to be a key factor in the movie next spring, which I'm pumped about. Let's just keep moving. Let's keep going. Let's create lore for other things. That's all.
I'm down.
All right. All fair points. But my fellow sports and Star Wars fan kicked your guys' asses. So, Jason, you get the floor right now.
All right, I got 60 seconds. So here's what I'm going to say. Throughout the course of this podcast, you've heard me dump on Veiled, some other Star Wars things that I don't enjoy. But the wonderful thing about Star Wars today is that there's not just 6 hours of it anymore. There's hundreds of hours of Star Wars, including Clone Wars, animation, Visions, all of this stuff. So if I don't like a particular thing of Star Wars, I'm not saying that you're wrong for liking it. And I'm not attacking you for liking it. I think it's wonderful that there is Star Wars that is still being made that speaks to old guys like us, and that there's Star Wars that's being made that speaks to you, that you get to see a different thing in it than what we see. And I think that's okay. I don't think, as a sports guy, there are fans of sports, and fans are allowed to be critical of a team. Like, if you're a New York Mets fan and you're not allowed to be critical of the New York Mets, like, what are you? You're a cheerleader. And it's okay. There are Mets cheerleaders and there are Mets fans. And I think that's okay. And I think in Star Wars, we need to get away from the fact that everybody needs to be a cheerleader. People are allowed to have opinions about Star Wars. People are allowed to think that not all Star Wars is good Star Wars. Similarly to, like, gummy bears. I love gummy bears more than anything, but you get to a certain point and you've eaten enough gummy bears and they make you sick. So I would rather have more quality Star Wars put out there. Even if I don't like it, there's something for everyone at this point. And I think that's what's important.
Well said.
And you're speaking to my soul right now. And before we go to the last commercial break, before we wrap, number one gummy bear, go.
Oh, I like white. Well, it depends. I like white. I like white, unless we're talking Haribo. I like the green ones because the green Haribo are strawberry. Even though the white used
Okay.
to be my favorite, I've switched
Right.
in my 40s.
Okay. It's legit. I like I like where your head's at.
Interesting.
Matthew's wrong. Gummy worms are not gross. Gummy candy, period. Number one favorite candy. It's
Me
it's
too.
one of my things. Yep.
What is gross though is when my son gets mint chocolate chip ice cream and gets gummies on it.
Yeah,
No,
don't do
doesn't
that.
make sense.
Yeah,
That's like
Yeah.
eating
My kids go to
gummies.
the pro
It's like brushing
Yeah.
your teeth and then eating
Hey,
gummies. Why would you do
drinking
that?
orange juice and
I
brushing your
don't
teeth.
understand it. I don't get it, but hey, everybody's got their thing. Well, JC, we didn't get into it enough at the beginning. Where can people keep up with you and Scum and Villainy and all the cool stuff that you're doing?
I am JC Reifenberg on Instagram. I never post. I rarely post Star Wars stuff. I'm playing in adult league baseball again. So like if you want to see me take pictures of my cleats and get my batting average,
Now we're talking.
follow me on Instagram, Scum and Villainy Cantina, or write into Pod of Rebellion and follow Pod of Rebellion on Instagram. There's nothing I love more than reading people talk about how much they love my fact checks on that, because that's the 10 minutes a week I get to geek out about like deep Star Wars lore, which I love.
That's awesome. Well, JC, thank you. You said it yourself, and we agree. We sound like we have a ton more to talk about. So we would love to have you back on sometime. We'll keep in touch for sure. We loved having you. We love hearing the stories. And you know, it's definitely if you've never heard of Scum and Villainy, go to the website, check it out. And if you're like me and Nick and Kelsey, you got to go, right? So I got to get there.
Are you guys coming out for Star Wars Celebration in 27?
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's the
Yes,
case.
sir.
And there is,
Yep.
I can't say it yet, but by 2027, there's going to be, guys,
Something cool.
Yep.
keep an
Brian
eye-
early
yeah,
in the show. Brian early in the show, he called it. He said, "I imagine the Cantina has events booked every night during Star Wars Celebration LA already. Stuff is
It's,
happening. Magic is gonna go."
Oh, it's going to be so cool. I'll tell you one thing I really want to do. I want to do, and it's something I've wanted to do forever. And I'm sorry, I told you this. We're never going to get
You're
out
good.
of it.
No, we're
You're
great.
good.
I want to do, and I've always wanted to do it. I want to do Star Wars Olympics, and I want to do like different events. So like bust out the old N64 and do like best lap times on Racer. I want to do like Death Star cornhole. I want to do like all of these like the Olympics, but it's all Star Wars type games. And like we track and we have like trophies and medals to give away.
We would like to go ahead and offer our services as the official podcast sponsors of Scum and
Hold
Villainy
up, you guys.
Star Wars Olympics.
I produced literally that on the Ocho, like Star
That's right.
Wars
You
on
did
the Ocho.
Ocho for ESPN. Yeah.
Yes, I did.
We-
So
we-
I have
we're
some ideas
tracking with
for
you.
you. Yeah.
All right, yeah, I mean, that's something that I'm dying to do. And there's going to be, I can't say it, but like there will be plenty of Scum and Villainy for everybody by 2027.
Outstanding.
Love it. That's awesome. Nick, what do we have going on next week? Do we know yet? Do we?
We are working on some things. We are efforting, as we like to say. We've got some stuff in the works. It's TBD, TBA. We're going to announce it soon.
It might be our
I do-
Star Wars sports ball draft.
It might
right?
be the
Next
Star
week,
Wars
yeah.
sports ball draft. It might not. We've got some things going on. I do want to throw out one. I guess this is a mea culpa. Andrew has been in the chat all night. Our friend Andrew, who lives in Australia, a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it's probably been a month now because I'm a slacker. Andrew won the Ziggy Stormtrooper stickers that I'm going to send him in the mail to Australia. Andrew, I haven't done that yet, and that's my fault. But those are coming. This is my way of calling myself and holding myself accountable to say, I've got your stickers. I'm going to get them in the mail in the next couple of days. Heading your way down under where it's already like 2 weeks from now. Time is crazy. I don't know how it works, but I've got your stickers and I haven't forgotten.
Nice. Well, great. Well, we are going to wrap things up for tonight. We appreciate everybody hanging out, and if you're listening again on the replay next week, I hope it was a good weekend. But we're just we're really excited that you join us every week, and next week we'll have some more fun. Go check out JC and Scum and Villainy, and if you're in LA and you haven't been there yet, what are you waiting for? Go check it out. So, Nick, as we say every single week, may the force be with you.
Always.
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend. The nights get shorter, it seems. Just one more rhyme, friend. Yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend. Time can fly. So it's good night, friend. Good night, but not goodbye.